Now I'm going to jump back and forth here. I talked about the processor, and I mostly just talked about it with the web browser, but I want to give you guys a few more details on what exactly performance will be like. And so I'm going to run a benchmark test, and that way I can give you guys a score, and you can kind of see a better idea of how one performs over the other. Okay, so the tests are done, and we have on the DoubleTime it is 580 is the score, and on the DoublePlay 1208, so basically doubled the score. So definitely, as you can see, much better performance with the DoublePlay. It's really no contest in that area. Let's take a look at another test, and we'll talk about data speeds. Now, the DoublePlay is a 4G device. It uses T-Mobile's 14.4 megabits per second HSPA plus network. The DoubleTime is not a 4G device. It just uses AT&T's 3G network. And so you can see here some of the speed tests that I've done here. I just reset the DoublePlay, so I actually had a couple of more speed tests with different numbers, and so I'm going to factor those in as well, even though you can't see them. So, on the DoubleTime we have average speeds of, if you were to average these, probably about 600 kilobits per second, which is, not bad. For 3G, it, could be better. And of course, I had a high of, 1.3 and then, 1 megabit per second. So definitely, pretty good speeds there. On the DoublePlay's end, obviously being a 4G device, that's a huge advantage, when comparing it to a 3G device. But as you can see, the speeds were not really as good as they should have been. Obviously, you're not going to probably ever reach the 14.4 megabits per second theoretical speeds. But you should still at least get better than, 1.2 megabits per second. That's not a bad speed, but for the most part, it's 1 to 1.3, say. And so I was disappointed by the 4G speeds, but again, keep in mind, data speeds are really going to vary depending on coverage in your area, and so you may get faster with the DoubleTime or with the DoublePlay, or they may be slower on both of them. These are just the results that I got while testing in the Dallas area. But I will say, even though the results weren't as good as they should have been for 4G, they were still better than what I got on the DoubleTime, simply because it's 4G phone compared to a 3G phone. Now, one note about battery life, the DoubleTime ships with a 1200 milliamp hour battery, which is a very small battery for an Android smartphone. The DoublePlay ships with a 1500 milliamp hour battery, which is still kind of small, but it's a low-end device. It has a small display, so I can kind of understand what their thinking is. But I can't really give you any definite results on battery life, because I think I may have gotten, I guess, a defective battery or a defective unit with a DoubleTime, because battery life has been terrible, and not just bad as in like, wow, that's really bad battery life, but it's terrible as in like, this isn't normal. I can have it at 50 or 60% and play a game for literally 2 minutes, and it'll drop down to like 40 or 30%. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I think I just got a bad battery, or there's something wrong with it. I've read other reviews, and those are not the results that everyone else got. So I won't be able to give you any definite comparisons on battery life, besides just the numbers, 1200 milliamp hour battery compared to a 1500 milliamp hour battery. While we're talking about battery, let me take off the battery cover and show you both phones do have a micro SD card slot. The annoying thing with the DoubleTime is that you have to remove the battery, which is like, I haven't seen in 2 years, having to remove the battery to get to the SD card slot, but whatever. It's there. Both of them ship with a 2 gig card, and then they both support up to 32 gigs of additional memory with your own card if you want to install that. The DoublePlay has 2 gigs of internal storage, and then the DoubleTime, actually, when you consider all of the apps that are pre-installed, you actually only have about 1 gig of internal memory, and then with a DoubleTime, once you consider all of the apps that are installed, you have about 260 megabytes of internal memory. So still more memory with the DoublePlay. Again, another advantage. So let's talk about the keyboard. This is probably outside of the dual display technology. This is probably one of the most important aspects of both phones, because, you know, some people love having a physical keyboard. I know I do. And so let's compare both of these. Now, the physical keyboard on the DoubleTime is absolutely excellent and probably one of the only shining points of this phone. It's the keys are very flat and flush to the surface. You can see they're barely raised at all. But what makes that not so much of a problem is that they have this rubbery grip to them. And so, you know, when you have this smooth surface and then grippy keys, it's very easy to differentiate the keys from each other. And overall, it's just an excellent keyboard. Now on the DoublePlay, you know, one of the questions I had was, okay, I have this display right in the middle of the keyboard, which means it's chopped in half and spread apart, and that to me just seemed very awkward. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to type on this. It's going to be impossible. But actually, it was very easy to get used to. Now, obviously, you do have to get used to the fact that, you know, okay, I can't reach my thumb across to get to the T or the G, which is what, you know, you may do on another keyboard. You know, once you accept, you know, okay, I can't do that, and you get used to that fact, it's actually very easy to type on, you know, just as easy as the DoubleTime. The quick brown fox jumps over. So you can see kind of an example there. These keys are very different. They're not rubbery and grippy like these are, and they're also more raised. You can see they have this kind of bubble design. But, you know, like I said, they're not rubbery and grippy, so they are kind of slippery. But it really didn't give me any problems. You know, I think the separation, you know, having the raised design means that there is enough separation between them, even if they're not island-style keys. So the keyboards, both of them are excellent. You know, I definitely feel that the DoubleTime has a better keyboard, but still, you know, if you're worried about is this going to cause a problem, it really doesn't. It's still comfortable to type on, but just definitely the DoubleTime does have, it's a more traditional keyboard, and then again, it's a very well-designed keyboard, so definitely much better for the DoubleTime. So there it is, guys, the LG DoublePlay versus the Samsung DoubleTime. I only got it wrong a couple of times throughout the video. Two phones with, you know, different form factors, but kind of similar technology, that dual display technology. In terms of, you know, which one I think is the most practical, I just love the DoublePlay's implementation, the way that it makes multitasking so much easier and efficient. I think it's just excellent. You know, obviously the DoubleTime's form factor does have some benefits, but I would love to see this form factor on more phones, more high-end phones with, you know, better specs and better hardware overall. You can check out both of them at AT&T or at T-Mobile. I definitely recommend the DoublePlay over the DoubleTime. Just much better performance overall, just a better phone. Thanks guys for watching. If you have any questions, if you want to ask me something about these two phones or about any other phone, you can send me a message on Twitter. My screen name is phonedog_Sydney. But I will see you guys later. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.